Good afternoon. Here are your headlines. Cold call capital of the world. Is it a sign? Another winter weather whammy. And an interview with new franchisee from Winter Garden, Florida, Sam Ghosh. Those are your headlines for today. Firstly, let me just say from Winter Garden, this has turned into the cold call capital of the world. They are cold, you may even hear them in the background. They are cold calling businesses. They are cold calling lists from Sales Genie. They are cold calling anybody and everybody that will answer the phone. They are promoting the 10-pound program marketing promotion where people are earning a free or winning a free 10-pound program just to introduce them to the market area, to the business, to the market. And in doing that, as you'll hear from Sam in just a moment, they are loading up the appointment books, doing tons of presentations, selling a lot of these programs, and he'll tell you just in a handful of days how many enrollments they're up to already. Is it a sign? Well, it's a sign for sure, and it's Dr. Ben Barton and Dr. Lauren Fontaine's sign. New franchisees in Columbia, South Carolina. This is their brand new sign. They're opening up next week. I'll have boots on the ground early next week to help them with their grand opening. Looking forward to doing that. And it's nice to have an additional franchisee in the Columbia area that'll help build that market even stronger. We're looking at clearly another winter whammy, and we're looking at 3 all told. Last week we had 1. It hit pretty much most of the centers that were affected by it over the weekend. Right now, virtually 75% of the centers are either being hit by torrential rains, snow, or blizzard-like conditions in the next 24 hours. And then there's yet another storm that's going to hit about 50% of the network towards the end of the week and over the weekend. The only thing I can really stress to you at this stage is go back to Friday's PWLC news, and you'll get complete guidance on what to do. What do we know when we have bad weather like this? Everybody's home. So what should we do? We should be on the phone calling. Whether it's cold calling like we're doing here in Winter Garden or calling out of our lead boxes. I talked to one franchisee today that has over 4,800 leads. They're setting up their lead card system to make sure that they're ready to go and making sure everybody's taking leads home because they already know they won't be able to make it into the center tomorrow. So be prepared for those winter weather whammies. Again, from our value statements, let's understand mistakes. Let's not make them twice. Everybody makes mistakes, but let's try not to make them twice. And if you missed out on selling opportunities or marketing opportunities last week because of the winter weather, take advantage of that winter weather marketing opportunity this week. I want to turn to our interview with new franchisee Sam Ghosh. Just a couple of minutes of interview with him and a short tour of his center. Here's Sam.
My name is Sam.
And what's the city you're in?
I am in Winter Garden. This is a grand opening, and so far we had great success in spite of that rain up there. Yep, it's drizzling, but we are having a hopes high, and we're going to save lives and make money.
How many programs have you sold already?
So far, as of yesterday, it's a total of 11.
11. All right, fantastic. And what is your number one lead source right now?
My the main number is the referrals, and the next one is the cold calling.
Cold calling. Center's doing a lot of cold calling, obviously.
Yeah.
What are you using for your source for cold calling?
The number one is the leads that we are getting, and the out of Sales Genie.
Sales Genie. And the leads you're getting are from what? The contest boxes?
Yes, contest boxes, Sales Genie, and most of our referrals by people.
Now, your staff is very dedicated to making their dials. What is it you've done in your organization to get everybody on the same page to be making lots and lots of cold calls?
The thing is, first get your scripts right. Make sure your people know about their scripts, and make sure you rehearse with them, and just watch them do this thing and hear them from time to time when they're making. And anytime they are making a mistake, don't interrupt. Next time when they're done with the call, correct their mistake and make sure they're following the script again. And if there isn't a question they can't answer, you answer on their behalf.
Fantastic. Now, in preparing for your grand opening, what advice would you give other new franchisees that are going to see this in terms of getting their center set up? In fact, talk a little bit about who designed your layout for your center, but just some advice or recommendations to new franchisees that have already been through training or in the process of training as to what you would recommend they do to have the most successful grand opening to get things ready to go?
Okay. The most important or your best guide for like you can go and buy a dummy 101, those manuals from Barnes and Noble, but they're not going to solve yours. So your dummy 101 is your center operations manual, your franchisee school manual. Follow it to an dotting an I, crossing a T. Do exactly what it says in those manuals. It might be an overkill, but you know, it's got to be done and got to be followed. And ask operations people, they know the best what's there. And ask Phil. I mean, he'll help you out, and your area director if you have one. And one of the most important thing is visit as many centers to you as closely, all the centers that are successful and even ones that are not successful. So you can see the difference. What is it they're doing right versus what is it they're not doing right. So you be the best judge, trust your guts, and you can do it.
Now, everyone's going to see a tour of your center after this interview on PWLC News. Tell us a little bit about who helped you lay out the design for the center.
Okay. When we got this center and I was down at the franchisee school and I had a piece of like a napkin or something and I was trying to figure out what's the best way to lay out. And then Chuck, he came and just like a good person he is, he's going, "Hi Sam, how you doing?" I said, "Hi Chuck, I need some help." He said, "Okay, what do you need help with?" I said, "You know, this is a trip. You don't probably have time for this, but you got to help me with this one." So he said, "Okay, let me see what I can do." And together, he and myself, we did a couple of designs on this. And finally, what you see up here and you're going to see is something that Chuck and then me, Chuck did the preliminary design and me, I just followed exactly what he said. So this is a brainchild of his. So, you know, and he gave it to me for working. You know? So let's see how I do.
And that's your wrap-up for the week. I'm traveling, as most of you know, for the next few weeks, well into almost the beginning of April. But if you just call the office and ask for extension 106, it'll call forward to my cell phone. You can email me, fax me, and it's following me around no matter where I am. And I know I'm playing phone tag with some of you, Jack Scleroux. Let's track each other down and be able to exchange some ideas and help save lives and make even more money. That's your wrap-up. Have a great day. Perfect. Sam, what do you do after you get a sale in your center?
All right. First we give a high five, and then we do the booty, just like we did with Janet the other day.